Hi, I'm Bonnie Browning with the American Quilter Society, and today I'm here with another one of our big winners. This time it is Robin Gausebeck, and she's from Rockford, Illinois. Robin won the A1 Quilting Machine Best Miniature Quilt, and so this quilt will go into the collection at the National Quilt Museum. Is that exciting for you?
That is a dream come true. It
Well,
really is.
so let's talk a little bit about your quilt. Tell us what the design inspiration was.
Well, it really comes from my bathroom wallpaper. For 13 years, I have sat in the bathroom and looked at this wonderful wallpaper and known that someday I was going to make a quilt, with some of the design, taking that as an inspiration. And this is what happened.
And so you scaled it beautifully for a miniature. Tell me why you chose the yellows and golds in there.
I like playing with color, I like playing with light. And so this was something that looked like it glowed from the center out, and I was very lucky to find some hand-dyed Robert Kaufman Radiance fabrics at one of our vendors here, color by hand. I'm going to give them a plug. And as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, those are the colors I want to use for the quilt.
Well, this light yellow in the center makes the whole piece really glow. Yeah, you chose well on that. Now, one of the things about making miniature quilts is that you keep all of the elements in scale. Tell us about choosing the quilting design.
Well, it's really tricky because often you see miniature quilts and what they'll use is a grid because the focus is often, unless it's a whole cloth quilt, the focus is not on the quilting, it's on the applique or the piecing. I knew I had some empty spaces that I needed to fill, and so I just went out on the internet and looked at antique Moroccan tile designs and motifs and tried to find something that evoked the style of the quilt. I like to keep things thematically tight and consistent.
Well, and the little circular loops seem to be the perfect size and style to fill those empty spaces around your applique. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this up close, tell us about putting all of those tiny applique pieces together.
Other people this week have asked me about that, and I tell them that I have three very important tools. I have a small, sharp piece of scissors, I have tweezers, and I have a magnifier that sits on my Bernina sewing machine. Without the magnifier, I would not be able to see exactly where the edge of each piece is and whether my stitches are falling where I want them to. So.
Well, and you have this trail that runs, and so those had to be pretty tricky. So how'd you stabilize that?
Everything is fused to a piece of Ricky Tim's stable stuff on which I drew the design, and that keeps it stiff, stable. It shows me where I need to stitch, where I need to fuse everything, and it gives the whole quilt a solidity and stability because these fabrics can't be starched like you would starch a cotton fabric to give it stability. This is, it's a softer thing that you just don't want to over iron, you don't want to over treat, you never know what the hand-dyed nature is going to do.
And it can be kind of stretchy too if
Yes.
you were working on the bias like you are here. Okay, all right, and then you machine applique down every tiny little leaf.
Yes, I did.
And so was there a secret in the thread you used?
I use silk thread.
Well, and so that makes it small, and you can make your stitches then small and in scale.
And between, among the companies that manufacture silk thread, there are so many colors out there that I could always find something that matched the pieces that I was sewing.
Okay, now you have the tiniest little edge on here. Tell us how you did that.
It's a trick. It's actually,
everyone wants to know your trick.
My trick. It's actually a wrapped edge from the back. When I was done quilting everything, I wrapped the batik fabric around to the front, and then I covered it up with that nice blue, that dark blue border, and continued to applique little pieces on top of it.
Okay, so this was one piece of fabric
from the back.
that came from the back. Is it filled with anything?
No.
Is there any filling?
It's just right up to the edge of the batting and the stabilizer.
And then you added this last border on to cover up the part you folded over.
Right, and then applique those little shapes right onto that border.
That is a trick. A good trick. We all need to know that.
It gave it a very clean edge. You know, this was not a quilt that asked for a binding. So I had to find some other way.
This is a perfect edge to go around it. Anything else you'd like to tell us about the quilt?
This is my third miniature. I have been very lucky because the other two have also won prizes here in Paducah. I thought it would be the most difficult thing in the world to do a miniature quilt, and it's not. It's a lot of fun. And I heard your interview with the person before me, and I would really like to encourage people to submit their quilts to any of the AQS shows and even other quilt shows. The constructive criticism that you get back, the experience of doing your submission, of looking at your quilt with a different eye and saying, okay, what am I going to do that will appeal to people? What can I do that will attract attention and inspire other people to make exciting looking quilts?
And of course, the best part is sharing your quilt, is it not?
Of course.
Everyone now gets to see it, and now that it's going to the National Quilt Museum, 40,000 people every year are going to get to see your quilt.
I'm going to be standing in line on Sunday to be the very first visitor at the museum to see that quilt.
Well, congratulations, Robin, and we hope that you'll enter all of the AQS Quilt Week events and shows. We have a contest at every single show, and don't miss the deadlines because you could be the next winner, couldn't they?
They certainly could.
Have a great time at AQS Quilt Week.